He stood at the massive window of the Galactic Council chamber, looking at the strange purple sky of planet Nexus. After 6 months as Earth's wildlife ambassador, he still couldn't get used to the view. Behind him, 20 alien representatives sat in their climate-controlled pods, barely paying attention to his presentation. "Earth's wildlife is unique," he said, turning back to face them. His translator device hummed softly. "Our animals have adapted to every environment on our planet." The council leader, a tall being made of shifting crystal, made a sound like tinkling bells. "Ambassador He, we have reviewed Earth's technology level. Your species has not even colonized your own solar system. Why should we care about your primitive animals?" Sun Mi's urgent message flashed on He's datapad. He smiled, knowing his friend had perfect timing. As Earth's top xenobiologist, she always knew how to get attention. "Perhaps this will interest you," He said, pulling up the new video feed from Earth's Arctic Research Station. The massive screen showed a polar bear standing on an ice ridge. Nothing special, until a snow petrel landed next to it. The bear didn't attack. Instead, it watched as the bird made specific movements, pointing its beak in one direction. The council chamber grew quiet as the bear followed the bird's guidance. Together, they found a seal's breathing hole that had been hidden behind a snowdrift. The bear caught its prey with the bird's help. "Impossible," muttered Du Yun, the blue-skinned representative from the Cryosphere Alliance. "Animals don't work together like this across species." He played more clips. Polar bears working with Arctic foxes to hunt. Bears following ravens to find food. Each video made the council members shift uncomfortably in their pods. "This is just the beginning," He said. "Our animals are smarter than you think. They learn, they adapt, they work together." Sun Mi's face appeared on a small screen. "Ambassador, we've recorded 15 new instances of cross-species cooperation in the past week alone. The patterns are getting more complex." The Crystal Council leader leaned forward. "And you say this is happening naturally, without human interference?" "Completely natural," He confirmed. "Earth's wildlife has been evolving these behaviors for millions of years. We're just starting to understand it ourselves." Do Yun floated up in his pod, ice crystals forming around him in agitation. "Council leader, my people have seen this before. On our home world, we ignored the local wildlife. We thought they were simple creatures. We were wrong." The council chamber erupted in worried whispers. He hid his smile. Finally, they were paying attention, but he knew this was just the start. Wait until they saw what was happening in Antarctica. May Ray, Earth's first contact specialist, sent him a private message. "They're scared." "Good. Maybe now they'll think twice before treating Earth like some backwater planet." He looked out at the purple sky again. The galaxy thought they had Earth figured out. They saw its blue oceans, green forests, and thought they understood. But they had no idea what secrets Earth's poles held. And the bears and penguins, they were just the beginning of a much bigger story. Sun Mi pulled her thermal suit tighter as she watched the polar bears through her binoculars. The temperature was -40 degrees, but she barely noticed. What she saw through those lenses was too important. "Are you seeing this?" she whispered into her comm device. 3 bears worked together with a group of snow petrels. The birds flew in patterns, marking spots on the ice. The bears followed, breaking the ice exactly where the birds showed them. "Recording everything," her assistant replied from the heated observation post. "The council won't be able to ignore this." A month had passed since Hojin's presentation, and the evidence kept growing stronger. The bears weren't just working with birds anymore. They coordinated with Arctic foxes, seals, and even whales. Sun Mi's datapad beeped. Du Yun, the Cryosphere Alliance representative, was calling again. She answered, and his blue, crystalline face appeared on the screen. "Show me," he said without greeting. His people knew ice worlds better than anyone in the galaxy. If anyone could understand what was happening, it would be him. Sun Mei pointed her camera at the scene below. A young bear stood watching as two ravens performed an aerial dance. The birds were teaching it their signals. "This is wrong," Du Yun said, ice crackling around his face. "Bears are predators. They should eat these birds, not learn from them." "Earth is different," Sun Mai replied. "Our animals learned long ago that working together is better than fighting each other." A loud crack echoed across the ice. Sun Mai turned her camera. The three bears had broken through the ice in a perfect triangle. Fish poured out of the holes, and the birds swooped down to get their share. The bears waited patiently, letting their smaller partners eat first. "Impossible," Du Yun whispered. They're using geometry. The bears understand geometric hunting patterns." Sun Mi smiled. "Want to see something really interesting? Watch this." She switched to thermal imaging. Hidden under the ice, more fish were being herded toward the holes by a pod of beluga whales. "Four species working together," Du Yun said. "This is beyond cooperation. This is strategy." Suddenly, Sun Mi's emergency alarm buzzed. Something big was happening in Antarctica. She checked the alert and gasped. "Du Yun, I have to go. J1 just reported something even more incredible from the South Pole. The penguins, they're doing the same thing. But they've added something new." As she rushed to the communication center, Sun Mai thought about what this meant. The bears were smart, yes. But if the penguins were copying their strategies from half a world away, then Earth's animals weren't just cooperating. They were building an army. J1 watched through the base's reinforced windows as a group of emperor penguins waddled across the ice. As Earth's military strategist for animal behavior, he had seen many strange things. But this was different. "Form up," he said into his recorder. "They're doing it again." The penguins moved into a perfect V shape, just like military aircraft. At the front, the largest penguin made a series of head movements. The others copied it exactly. "Like watching a drill sergeant," J1 muttered. His thermal scanners showed more movement under the ice. Leopard seals, usually penguin predators, swam in formation below. His communication screen lit up. It was Myray, the first contact specialist. "Please tell me you're recording this," she said. "The council needs to see it." "Better than that," J1 replied. "Watch." The penguin formation moved to the edge of an ice shelf. Instead of diving in randomly like they used to, they waited. 3 skua birds circled overhead, scanning the water. One bird made a sharp cry. The lead penguin jumped in first. Then, in perfect order, the others followed. Under the water, the leopard seals moved into position. Together, they herded a school of fish into a tight ball. "That's not hunting," Mayri said. "That's a military operation." J1 nodded. "They're learning faster than we thought. Last week, they could barely coordinate 5 animals. Now they're managing 20 at once." A loud crack echoed across the ice. Everyone turned to look. A group of smaller penguins had crafted a perfect ice slide, angled exactly right to launch them into the hunting zone. "They're using physics," J1 said. "They understand trajectory." Nairay's face went pale. "The council meeting is in 1 hour. Hajin needs this footage now." As J1 sent the data, his scanner picked up something new. Deep under the ice, whale songs echoed. But they weren't normal songs. They were repeating in patterns, like code. "Mayray," he said slowly, "I think they're talking to the Arctic. The whales, they're passing messages between the poles." The implications hit them both at once. Earth's polar animals weren't just working together locally. They were building a global network. And somewhere in the Galactic Council chamber, Hajin was about to show them exactly what that meant. Mayray stared at the data streams flowing across her screens. After 3 days without sleep, she had finally cracked it. The whale songs weren't random. They were carrying messages through Earth's magnetic field. "Hajin," she called through the emergency channel. "Wake up. You need to see this now." He-Jin's tired face appeared on her screen. Behind him, the purple sky of planet Nexus was just brightening. What did you find? Myray sent him the decoded patterns. The whales are using Earth's magnetic field like a telephone line. They're connecting the Arctic and Antarctic animals. Look at these matching behavior patterns. The screen split to show both poles. In the north, polar bears were teaching birds new hunting signals. In the south, penguins were using the exact same signals, adapted for their own hunting. They're learning from each other, He-Jin whispered. But how? The poles are too far apart. The whales, Myray explained. They travel between the poles. But they're not just carrying messages. They're using Earth's magnetic field to send the information faster, like a natural internet. Just then, Sunmai and Jae-won joined the call. You need to show this to Do-Yun, Sunmai said. The Cryosphere Alliance needs to know. Do-Yun's crystal face appeared moments later. As he watched the evidence, ice crystals formed and shattered around him in agitation. This changes everything, he said. Your Earth animals aren't just smart. They're building a global defense network, those hunting patterns, their military formations. Jae-won nodded. The bears and penguins are creating perfect attack and defense strategies, and they're teaching these strategies to other species. But why now? He-Jin asked. Why are they suddenly working together like this? Myray pulled up one last piece of data. Because they know we're not alone anymore. The animals, they can sense the changes in Earth's magnetic field from all the alien ships in orbit. They're preparing. The screen suddenly filled with new activity. At both poles, the animals were gathering in larger groups than ever before. Bears and penguins were organizing hunting parties that looked more like army units. Call the council, Do-Yun said. They need to understand. Earth isn't just some harmless planet with primitive life. It's a world where even the animals know how to build armies. As He-Jin rushed to arrange an emergency council meeting, Myray kept watching her screens. The whales were singing louder now, their songs carrying messages between Earth's poles. Messages that sounded very much like battle plans. The Galactic Council chamber erupted in chaos. Representatives from 30 different species shouted over each other as He-Jin's latest video played on the main screen. A bear just disabled a quantum scanner. One delegate shrieked, with its paws. The video showed a polar bear methodically destroying the hidden alien monitoring device. The bear hadn't just smashed it. It had taken it apart in exactly the right places to disable it. The penguins are worse, another delegate said. They found our underwater probes. All of them. Do-Yun floated in his pod, ice crystals swirling around him. My people tried to study Earth's poles secretly last year. Every probe we sent disappeared. Now we know why. The council leader's crystal form flickered with stress patterns. How many other species are involved in this alliance? He-Jin displayed a new list. Polar bears, penguins, seals, whales, Arctic foxes, snow petrels, skuas, and more join every day. They're all learning from each other. The chamber went silent as a new video started. A group of penguins had formed a living ladder, reaching up to disable a cloaked camera. In the Arctic, bears were doing the same thing, standing on each other's shoulders to reach hidden devices. They're copying each other's techniques, Sunmai explained through the video link. The whales carry information between the poles. Every new trick learned in the Arctic shows up in Antarctica days later. A large insectoid delegate buzzed angrily. Our invasion fleet was going to target the poles first. Those were supposed to be the weak points. The room went still. Every eye turned to the insectoid delegate, who quickly realized what it had just admitted. You were planning to invade Earth? He-Jin asked quietly. Many were, Do-Yun said. The poles seemed like perfect landing zones. No major human cities, lots of space. But now you know better. Myray's voice came through the speakers. Earth's poles aren't weak points. They're our strongest defense. While everyone watched our cities, our animals built something amazing. On the screen, More footage played. Bears and penguins working in perfect formation. Whales breaching in synchronized patterns. Birds relaying messages across vast distances. The council leader's crystal form stabilized. I moved to classify Earth as a protected planet. All in favor. Every pod in the chamber lit up green. As Hejin watched, he smiled. Sometimes the best defense wasn't technology or weapons. Sometimes it was just letting nature take its course. Hejin walked into the council chamber carrying an ancient human tablet. The room was packed. News of Earth's remarkable animals had spread across the galaxy. "You think this animal cooperation is new?" he asked. "Let me show you something from Earth's past." Sunmi's face appeared on the main screen. She stood in a cave deep under the Arctic ice. These cave paintings are over 20,000 years old. The images showed bears and birds working together, just like today. More paintings revealed ancient penguins teaching hunting patterns to seals. During Earth's last ice age, Hejin explained, most of our planet was frozen. Animals had to adapt. They learned to work together to survive. Duyun's ice crystals pulsed with excitement. The magnetic field patterns, they match perfectly with ancient ice core samples from my world. Exactly, Sunmi said. Earth's magnetic field was stronger then. The animals used it to communicate between the poles, just like they do now. New images appeared, showing cave paintings from Antarctica. The same patterns, the same formations, drawn by ancient humans who had witnessed this cooperation. Your world has been preparing for millions of years, Duyun said. Every ice age, the animals improved their tactics. They never forgot what they learned. The council leader's crystal form sparkled with interest, and now, with alien ships in orbit, they think another ice age is coming. Hejin finished. The changes in Earth's magnetic field from your ships triggered ancient memories. The animals aren't just working together, they're activating plans that are millions of years old. Myre's voice came through the speakers. We found something else. The whale songs. They're not just carrying messages, they're carrying memories. Stories passed down through generations about how to survive when the world freezes. The chamber fell silent as everyone absorbed this news. Earth wasn't just a planet with clever animals. It was a world where life had been preparing for invasion for millions of years. No wonder our probes failed, Duyun said. We weren't fighting against simple animals. We were fighting against millions of years of evolution and planning. Hejin nodded. Earth remembers. Our animals remember. And now, thanks to all your interest in our poles, they're wide awake and ready. The council leader raised its crystalline form. I believe we owe Earth an apology. And perhaps an alliance. Hejin smiled. After all, if Earth's animals could learn to work together, maybe the galaxy could too. The alarms at both polar research stations went off at exactly the same time. An unauthorized alien ship had entered Earth's atmosphere, heading straight for Antarctica. They're testing us, J1 said, watching the radar. The insectoid empire doesn't believe our animals are that smart. Through the station's windows, he saw the penguins already moving into formation. Not their usual hunting groups. This was something new, something military. In the Arctic, Sunmi watched as polar bears gathered at strategic points along the coast. The whales have already spread the word, she reported. Both poles are ready. The alien ship landed on an ice shelf in Antarctica, its cloaking device humming. 6 insectoid creatures emerged, carrying scanning equipment. They didn't see the penguins at first. The birds were too well camouflaged against the ice and snow, but they definitely saw the massive whale that breached next to their ship, soaking the landing gear with freezing water. The water's already turning to ice, Myre reported from the monitoring station. They can't take off. The insectoids noticed movement too late. Hundreds of penguins emerged from hiding spots, moving in perfect military formation. They didn't attack. They just stood there, blocking every escape route. Then the polar bears arrived. Nobody had seen the ice bridge forming. While the penguins kept the aliens distracted, whales had been building an ice path. Now, a group of bears crossed the newly formed bridge, led by Arctic foxes and guided by snow petrels. Impossible. One of the aliens clicked. The bears can't be here. We're in Antarctica. But they were. The bears moved with perfect precision, disabling the aliens' equipment piece by piece. The penguins maintained their formation, preventing any escape. Look at their teamwork, Du Yun whispered through the comlink. The bears break the machines. The penguins guard the perimeter. The whales block the ship. This isn't just cooperation. This is perfect military strategy. Within an hour, the alien ship was stripped of all useful technology. The insectoids were escorted back to their damaged vessel by a mixed honor guard of bears and penguins. Leave, rumbled a message through the ship's translators. The whales were speaking. Earth is protected. As the crippled ship limped back to space, J1 smiled. Think anyone else will try to invade the poles? No, Hejin replied from the council chamber. I think Earth's message is finally clear. In the distance, bears and penguins returned to their hunting. But now everyone knew. They weren't just hunting. They were standing guard. 6 months after the failed insectoid invasion, Earth's poles had changed. Research stations now included alien scientists, all carefully watched by the local wildlife. Hejin stood before the Galactic Council one last time. Earth is ready to join the galactic community, he said, but on our terms. The terms were simple. Earth's poles would remain protected zones. No alien bases, no hidden probes, no secret studies. The animals had made their position clear. Sun's research station had doubled in size. Scientists from 50 different worlds came to study how bears and birds work together. Every day, they discovered new surprises. The bears have started teaching younger penguins, she reported to the council. And the penguins are showing Arctic foxes new hunting patterns. They're sharing knowledge across species and poles. In Antarctica, J1 had built a new observation post. From here, he could watch the penguins train their young. They practiced formations, hunting techniques, and even basic technology handling. They can recognize different types of alien ships now, he told Myray. The whales spread the information faster than our computers. Myray had her own breakthrough. Working with Du Yun's people, she finally understood the whale songs. They weren't just messages. They were history lessons, battle plans, and survival guides all in one. Earth's animals remember everything, she explained to the council. Every ice age, every climate change, every challenge they faced. And now, they're ready for anything. The council made it official. Earth became the first planet protected not for its human technology, but for its wildlife. Hejin's new title changed from Wildlife Ambassador to Defense Coordinator of the Polar Regions. Du Yun moved his office to Earth permanently. My people will help guard the poles, he said. We understand ice worlds. And we understand now. Earth's animals are the best defenders any world could have. In the Arctic, a young polar bear watched a penguin demonstration. In Antarctica, penguin chicks learned from bear videos carried by whales. And in between, Earth's magnetic field hummed with messages, warnings, and plans. The galaxy had learned its lesson. Earth wasn't just another planet with some clever animals. It was a world where life had spent millions of years preparing for this moment. And now, everyone knew. If you wanted to visit Earth, you had better ask the bears and penguins first.